WayV? WayV! WayV, my alts!
We are reacting to WayV, which is NCT's Chinese subunit, and their song The Fifth Season off of their winter special album called Eternal White. The lyrics portray yearning and bittersweet emotions towards someone while time seems to have stopped.
第五个理解. The pinyin was wrong, but definitely I ate that up. It means the fifth something.
The fifth season.
We'll put all the producers' names here because I don't know how to pronounce anything. Sorry. But WayV time to heal your
WayV will heal me.
If you're hearing this right now, that means this video isn't monetizable, nor is it sponsored. Instead, this video is brought to you by you, our YouTube members and supporters on Patreon. Patreon and YouTube memberships are how viewers like you can support our team and also gain access to tons of exclusive content.
Every time it feels like there's some sort of arrival, they always pivot it into like a suspended chord or something.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much to all of you who already support us. We really couldn't keep doing this without you. And now, back to the video.
My chamomile tea. Sat for WayV. Let's go.
Let's go.
That rhymed.
3, 2, 1,
go.
Oh.
1, 2, text 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I'm not as familiar with the members of WayV because it's been a while.
What are I'm referencing? Ba-da-da-da-da, da-da-da.
What's that weird ass chair he's sitting on?
Oh, this is so lovely.
React to the scene. React to the scene. What in the Jacob Collier is this?
I like the vibraphone like sound. It's definitely a vibraphone synth, right?
Oh yes, you're right. No, it's Rhodes. Better Rhodes. With the attack on. Ooh. That guy's voice.
Oh.
Go 10.
Who is that?
I do know who 10 is.
Who is this? I love his hair.
My alts. His hair, his voice.
Which makes it sound like a vibraphone. So I get it.
Who is he?
Xiaojun. Follow him on Instagram.
Xiaojun.
I don't know what that is in vocalness, but that was really good, whatever he did.
Ooh.
Change in timbre was so good.
Yes. I feel like we could do a harmonic analysis of this for theory.
That was so sick.
Oh, that was short. That was short but sweet. It was like very Carol-esque.
Ballad lovers unite.
Was that it?
No way.
Oh!
That was fucking beautiful.
One verse of the carol.
Yes, right. They should have actually done 4 verses and then it would have been an 8-minute long song and then we would have all had to sit there awkwardly like as if carolers came to your house and you stand there awkwardly while they sing at you. Angels we have heard on high. Yeah, right, because there's always someone doing that.
The Hugh Jackman. You know, it felt like I was taken aback to Pentatonics, like
Yes.
circa 2015, and that's kind of the vibe I was getting from it. But it was very pretty. It was very pretty.
That's so lovely.
That was such a fun listening experience.
Yes.
Their voices are all so pleasing to listen to. I think they're all like can hold their own vocally, and I think that's so nice. Xiaojun especially. Can't go wrong starting a song with Xiaojun.
Great vocal control. I think they tend to stuck with more of like an airy voice sort of thing, except for I don't know. That's the guy who's the meme, right?
Xiaojun?
Xiaojun?
Yeah.
Which meme?
I've just been seeing a picture of him like on K-pop Instagram.
One thing vocally that I found very interesting was we have this poppy falsetto, which is beautiful, gorgeously done. Mm-hmm. But then somebody was singing, and they beautifully transitioned into a mix from that falsetto.
Yes, that was so.
Like really like
You can almost
taper.
hear the taper going like it's a taper, right? Like going as sound transitions from like being up here to falling.
Yeah, very falsetto.
Very steadily
down
and
into
slowly falling down.
like you know how I talk about like mixes being percentages. It was very much like 100% head, and then just like slowly, like this very smooth transition into the mix of the chest and head. That's something very difficult to achieve, having that transition and having it be so smooth that you don't really even think about the fact that there's a break there. That's really the goal, the beauty of singing, is making it sound so effortless.
I was kind of curious why at the very end, before 10 sang the final line, that they two were doubling exactly the same notes, and you can only hear the slight differences in breaths, but they're matching very, very well. Yeah, it's not even like an octave doubling or...
That would be really tricky in live.
Exactly.
I think the airy voice also goes well with like the background, so it's like very clear that they're kind of stepping in front of the texture. But also it was fun to hear how like the instrumentals would interact, so having the change of the ah ooh in the acapella background. Well, changes like how like it sounds and also like what's coming out in the texture, because I think it's a lot of ooh, but there's an which is like after I think one of the members like does something or is on a long note, and so now the accompaniment can interact with it. So I think it's simple, but it's so lush and well done. I don't care that it's under 2 minutes, because it was a very interesting and very fun listening experience.
The fact that they kept the instrumental like so minimal, like you can hear a little bit of like onset of an instrument, but it's more the choir sustain in the back, and you can hear the top voice of that vocal burger of voices happening. Like there's some little bit of ad-libbing that happens underneath.
Are there chord people reacting to this?
I have Jackie right after you guys.
Okay, so Jackie's got this.
Chord people.
The harmonies, I really adored it.
The harmonies were, it was giving a little bit of like Jacob Collier, a little bit. There was a lot of like really kind of funkier resolutions that I was really not expecting. A lot of really gorgeous uses of diminished chords in this. Like, yeah, like lots of like the one that we hear a lot is... Yeah, so the one that I'm hearing there is like we have this A dominant 7 chord, and then we transition up to here, this big old diminished chord. I can't hear what's exactly in the bass, so it's either a C diminished chord or an E diminished chord or a G diminished chord or a B flat diminished chord. It could be any of them, depending on whichever one's in the bass. But we end up on this D minor. We go, I think it's C sharp, because C sharp diminished, resolving to D minor 7. And we end up on F. But the reason why that sounds so cool, I think, is because this diminished chord that we hang out on for a while could resolve to D minor, but it could also resolve to F just fine. So it's almost like it resolves in 2 ways at once, which I think is kind of cool.
You hear that?
Yes. Yeah, that's what that is. It's like, it's very gospel, very gospel.
So gospel. Like I could totally hear this in a church.
Oh, Bubba. We know we're going somewhere new. We go to a new place, because instead of saying, no, he goes ba doo doo ba ba. He goes to the minor third, to E flat, out of nowhere. We've been in C major this whole time, and then he's like, okay, actually, psych, here's an E flat. Right? And then we go ba da boo doo ba to A flat major 7, out of nowhere. Whoa! And then we change the bass. The bass goes da ba da ba da do. Dang it, the stupid E. Yes. Yeah, we go to the E in the bass, just like using a first inversion chord there, having the E natural be in the bass is so interesting, coming out of all that modal mixture. Yes. And it's so funny because like that, we've been listening to minor chords for a little bit. Like that's from C minor. That's from C minor. Having it be like that come in, they're just like, it's like out of the blue. It just is so warm.
I do also really like how there it lands on the 7th, and then it resolves itself to the tonic 110. Yeah. I also like all the passing motion.
You know what it was? You know what that was? You know what that whole thing freaking was? Oh my god. We were talking about barbershop earlier. This is not very barbershop-y, but it's a tag. It's a barbershop tag.
Oh, it does sound very barbershop taggy.
It was maybe not less of a barbershop tag and more of a jazz tag. When you do a jazz gig, you oftentimes don't practice the endings because the endings will just happen whether you like it to or not. And so you don't practice it because a lot of times it'll just like default to doing a tag. So you get to the end of like, and then repeat it. You repeat it that same chord progression 3 times. They did the same thing here, obviously more cool chords than that, but they did the same thing of like, they went flat 6, flat minor 5, major 1, and they repeated it several times. Ba-na, da-na, da-na. And every time they did, they changed up slightly. The instrumentation was different, the harmony choices were different, they had someone else singing every single time, but they really just repeated that chord progression over and over again until they got to the end. It was cool. You know who else uses a lot of like those like turnaround, that turnaround and get like repeating the same couple chords, the tag ending? It's gospel.
Gospel. It sounded extraordinarily gospel-y, which I think is like, well, the cool part of the jazz tradition also is it has a lot of those gospel elements mixed in, and some of the best jazz musicians I know really embrace that gospel sound.
Because is this low-key like, not Gregorian chant, but it's about like the tension resolution sort of thing, where it's like...
It's Gregorian chant vibes.
Where it's like you build up for the tense moments, but then you come back for when it resolves, like very Baroque performance practice. Very Christmassy, you know.
The leaps. There's so many leaps in the song, and I think that makes it like, well, obviously there's also a lot of stepwise stuff, especially in the grace note. And my favorite part, which is like something about a photograph here.
Sentimental looking back at a photograph.
Guys, this song is exactly within my vocal range.
Cover one.
Finally.
Cover one.
No.
Favorite moment of that song?
The end. I just really liked the way that Ten sang the last line, and similar to what Irene said, how that da da da, and then the final line completes that with da da da. So it's like a restatement, but you do get the closure on the tonic that you're looking for.
Chorus, I think. I don't think it comes back again though, but, well, maybe because the song's so short, but. It's just, I like we have so much stepwise stuff, and then suddenly like this like up and down and up. It just feels like really, really satisfying.
Low-key, my cough is gone, actually. Maybe they healed me for real.
Yes, you've been healed.
There's such little melodic and harmonic content in the instrumental. I'm curious how.
Nice.
This came out of nowhere. I like it.
All right.
All right. 0.5ing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.